Good morning everyone, you're joining me on a lovely morning in May, and although the sun was out and it was beautiful blue skies, it has already gone very overcast, which is classic for English weather. But I thought I'd bring you out on a foraging walk with me today. I'm really keen for us to make something with some elderflowers which have just started to grace the hedgerows recently, and I'll be sharing a recipe with you later in the video for that. I just wanted to start with this flower that is growing all over this beautiful field behind me, and it is the buttercup. So you'll definitely recognise the buttercup if you grew up in the English countryside. I'm not sure if these grow in America too. They are these lovely yellow 5-petal blooms that really do just dominate the fields at this time of year. The thing you would have done growing up, if you maybe grew up in the British countryside or anywhere in England, is you're meant to hold the buttercup underneath your chin like this. You see that glowing yellow colour? That's meant to mean that I like butter. That's where the name comes from, buttercups, supposedly. However, just because they're called buttercups, does not mean that they're an edible plant. So these plants actually are toxic and will give you a very upset tummy if you were to eat them, despite their inviting yellow colour. So one to leave behind in the fields. You'll also notice that the cows also leave them behind. So if the cows aren't eating them and they have 3 stomachs, then that really is saying something, isn't it? However, I would not trust if an animal is eating something, it does not necessarily mean that a human can eat it. But yeah, this is the buttercup. Not one to put in the basket, but one worth knowing, and a really beautiful flower at this time of year. All of this lovely froth of white along the edge of this sheep field here is cow parsley. So cow parsley is a member of the carrot family, and the carrot family is one of the most dangerous in the plant world. So not one for the novice forager. Let me just go and pick a piece to show you. So cow parsley looks very similar to the deadly hemlock, and to differentiate the two, the stems of the cow parsley, they're not sort of smooth all the way. They've kind of got these ridges on them, which is quite a distinctive feature. It also, if you crush it up and have a smell, it has a carroty-ish sort of smell to it. Whereas if this was hemlock in my hand right now, this would smell a bit like a dead mouse. So that's another sort of defining feature. Something also at this time of year which is quite helpful to know is that hemlock is a bit of a slower grower compared to cow parsley. So you can see here that the cow parsley's really shot up as we've got into May. But hemlock, earlier in this month and towards the end of April, it was kind of lower in the ground. So, quite easy again to distinguish that here. This is an edible plant. However, again, for the novice forager, just one to leave behind because of its close similarity to hemlock. Even the leaves itself look super similar to hemlock. I'll try and pop up a picture side by side of what a cow parsley and a hemlock leaf look like. Another distinguishing feature, which I'll just also mention, is that hemlock itself has purple splotches down the stem. So the cow parsley itself won't have those purple splotches on the stem. One that I love to pick for bouquets at this time of year, I love to go and pick some wildflower bouquets, and cow parsley is a very full flower, so it kind of makes the bouquet look super gorgeous. And one that I'll be leaving behind today, but potentially for a bouquet at some point in the near future. So you probably guessed it, this lovely wash of white behind me here is hawthorn. And I couldn't do a video in May without talking about hawthorn. You may have seen my most recent video where I did go into a lot more detail about the folklore and how you can forage hawthorn, but I thought I would just give a little bit of a rundown while I'm here as well, because you cannot overlook it at this time of year. It is just bathing the hedgerows in this beautiful white colour. It has like a lovely scent to it too, but it is a flower that sort of represents death as well as life. It's a flower of contradictions, so to speak, or a tree of contradictions. So it is the flower of Beltane and May Day, which is the spring festival that kind of starts off summer, and it is sort of the festival of fertility and life. So it's very much around the time of year when everything's reproducing, right? All of the birds are getting together and having their chicks, and everyone's mating, I guess. So it is a flower that symbolises sex and joys of life, but there is a little bit of an undertone to it. So if you are to smell a hawthorn flower, you will get this little bit of a something that just doesn't smell quite right about it. That's not in your head. It has actually biologically got the smell of decaying flesh in it, which is crazy. So that compound is called trimethylene, and it basically is the smell that is given off when animals' bodies are decaying. So it literally does represent life and death. When you smell it, that is the smell that you're getting. You can forage this flower. I recently sort of weaved a lovely flower crown from them, which felt like a really wonderful and fun way to sort of celebrate this tree. But foraging wise, you can eat the leaves when they're young. So back when the leaves were first coming out in sort of March, April, I did forage some and put them in a salad, and they're relatively mild so long as you get them just before the flowers start to come out, because that's when all the sugars and stuff are being pushed into the flowers rather than the leaves. So the leaves would become a bit more bitter, and they would be more bitter now because all the flowers are out. Flowers themselves can be steeped into things, so I recently made a lovely tea from them. And then later on, the haws, the berries, can be used to make jellies and wines and all sorts of different things. But they are a real lifeline for the birds. There was loads that came out last winter. We had a real sort of good year for them. It's a wonderful tree, filled with folklore too, which you can check out in my other video. I won't go into too much detail and repeat myself for those of you who have watched that one too. But you really must come out and see your hawthorn, give it a smell, recognise that little bit of an undertone to it, which is that trimethylene. A really lovely flower to see at this time of year, and it is pretty much everywhere, so you really can't miss it. We are just at the end of wild garlic season now, but I can really smell it all still. It's so strong, and there's lots of it growing here. And to be fair, these ones in particular actually look quite fresh still, but a lot of them are looking a little bit worse for wear now. Yeah, another patch I found here today that I wasn't aware of, so good to know for next year. So this just behind me here is an elder tree, which is what we've been looking for today, so that we can make some lovely elderflower lemonade. What you're meant to do when you find an elder, so if you wanted to pick an elder's flowers, you would ask the tree. So again, this is a tree that is steeped in folklore, and it was really associated with witches. There's actually a folklore tale whereby some very noisy crows up there. I'm not sure if you can hear them. There was a man who went out into the woods. He was a woodcutter, and he wanted to cut some wood. So he chopped a branch from an elder tree, and he was making his way back. And on his return back to his village, a lady came through the woods screaming, crying, really angry with him, and she'd lost her arm. And you've guessed it, she was the elder tree. So it was kind of believed that during the period, I think, of the witch trials in England, that witches were actually able to embody trees and different plants and, or I suppose familiars, like it all comes from the same thing, right? So elders were associated with witches, and therefore they were believed that was believed that witches could turn into elder trees. And I think a lot of that comes back to the fact that elder does have some sort of medicinal properties infused into cordials and syrups and stuff for soothing. I believe it actually also has, it kind of helps you break out of fever. It helps your body's temperature actually increase to get to a point whereby it can break out of it. So I'm not going to take anything from this specific tree because there's really not much to show you on this one. Lots of buds, but not too many flowers. But once we found a tree that's a bit more full, we will kindly ask the tree if we can pick from it first, and then depending on the vibe that we get in response, we will take or we will not. Let's keep going and look for a bit of a fuller elder tree. Some of you may also watch my, or I hope you do, watch my YouTube shorts, which are my little short form videos, and you may have seen recently that I made something called dandelion spaghetti. So these really lovely tall dandelion stems here, literally perfect. I mean, look at the length of that. It's like half my body length. So these would be absolutely great for making dandelion spaghetti. I'm actually quite tempted to pick some of these. There is really good bundle here. Yeah, I think I might do, because I'm in the middle of a field. There's no risk of pesticides here and stuff. So yeah, maybe we'll have some for lunch. Let's pick a few of these. So this is probably about enough, and all I'm going to do when I get home is give these a quick wash in case any dog wee is on them, and blanch them to get rid of their bitterness for about 5 minutes or so. And then I'm going to fry them up in some butter and garlic, and it is so delicious. Someone commented on my short to say that they thought it tasted a little bit like asparagus, and I would agree. So yeah, this is a really, perfect example for just how long and tall dandelions can get, and they are a fantastic edible. So I think I'm gonna make some lunch with these today. Okay, so we're just back in the car now. I've got the dandelion stems that I picked earlier. I didn't come across an elder tree that I was comfortable picking from because they were all quite immature on the walk I did. So I know that there's some trees in the village which are a lot further along in terms of they've got more buds coming out and stuff. So let's head back and we'll go and pick some elderflower from the village, and then we will make some elderflower lemonade together. This is the elderflower I was referring to that has got a lot more flowers out. So we're going to ask it if we can pick from it, and then I've got my little basket ready to collect some. Here we are. So we've picked approximately 8 elderflower heads, and this should be enough for sort of 4 servings, and I'll share the other bits and pieces that I bought for the lemonade when I get back. Obviously loads of lemons, but yeah, really pretty, really lovely flowers.